What's up, guys? I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Don't worry, I'm not completely abandoning true crime and makeup. I'll be back with a true crime and makeup episode really soon. I saw this story trending. It says, dad accused of abusing son to death by forcing him to run on a treadmill. Yeah, here we go.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. This is not an easy one to hear, and it is not an easy one for me to even talk about. It concerns a young boy named Corey Michelot. Corey was just 6 years old in April of 2021 when he woke up from a nap, and he was in very bad shape. He was apparently slurring his words, stumbling around, experiencing symptoms like nausea and shortness of breath. His father, Christopher Gregor, took him to get a CT scan, but that is where things got worse, because Corey started having seizures and he died. Now, the boy's sudden death came 2 weeks after surveillance video inside of an apartment complex gym apparently shows Gregor forcing Corey to run at high speeds on a treadmill. An Ocean County, New Jersey medical examiner performed an autopsy.
I'm shook. Why does a 6-year-old need to go to the gym at all? Are you kidding me? It's workout culture, y'all. That's what it's doing. Everybody out here working out. Now you got your kids running on treadmills. Listen, I'm all for health and safety for 100%. You know, you need to keep your kids healthy. And I do know there's a lot of like obesity and other health problems in America with children in general. But this, in my opinion, is outlandish. It's absolutely inappropriate for a 6-year-old to have to be running on a treadmill. Like, I'm already mad at this guy because he already looks like a douchebag. Like, his face is giving douchebag to me.
That doctor did not rule on manner of death, instead listing it as undetermined. But a forensic pathologist followed up on the case in September of 2021, changing the manner of death to homicide, meaning death at the hands of another. That pathologist believes that Corey suffered an acute traumatic injury to his heart between 4 and 12 hours before he died. The doctor said that he found evidence of recurring physical abuse. So with that, let's go back to the timeline. March 20th, 2021, Gregor allegedly forced Corey to run on the gym treadmill. In the video, you can see Corey falling multiple times, getting back up. Gregor sometimes pulling him up by his shirt. He even appears to maybe bite him on the top of the head.
What the fuck?
Gregor was ultimately charged with child endangerment for that back in July of 2021.
What the fuck? What is going on out there? Really? Do I want to know? Probably not. Like, look at this guy. You're biting a 6-year-old on the head.
But then you go to April 2nd, 2021.
Y'all, I hope to God they're not going to play those videos of him biting this boy on his head, because I might just come through the screen and choke him alive. I don't think that I would be able to sit through seeing that. Not everybody should have children. I feel like it should be mandatory at this point for everyone to undergo a psychological evaluation before they're allowed to have children. Okay? Psychological evaluation, financial evaluation, drug test, health and welfare check to make sure that you're actually healthy enough to have a child. This is ridiculous. I don't know. I'm just pissed. Anyway, let's continue.
A couple weeks after this treadmill incident, and Corey dies, apparently, as I said, from this trauma, this blunt force trauma. Gregor was charged with first-degree murder in connection with Corey's death in March of 2022. And since then, he's been locked up in the Ocean County Jail without bond. Court records show that Gregor turned down a 30-year plea offer, now faces life in prison if he's convicted. But what about Corey's mother? Let's talk about her, Brianna
let's talk
Michelot.
about her. Where is
she
his
and
mom?
Gregor shared joint custody of Corey after Gregor had recently re-entered their lives. She claims that she had reported Gregor's alleged abuse to authorities but wasn't taken seriously. Now, she was the first witness to take the stand in Gregor's murder trial this week. We're going to get to that in a second, but let's just go back to how Gregor came into their lives. So Gregor says he got a court notification in 2017 about a paternity test for a child that he claims he didn't know he had. Brianna was looking for child support payments. So he took the test, realized he is, in fact, the father of Corey. Gregor's attorneys say he wanted to be a father. He wanted to be involved in his son's life, so he became a part of Corey's life when Corey was 5. And then not long after, Corey would no longer be in anyone's lives. Opening statements were delivered on Tuesday. Prosecution goes first. They have the burden. And here is prosecutor Jamie Schron talking a little bit more about young Corey.
He liked to play outside. His mom describes him as silly and happy. Corey was 6 on April 2nd, 2021, when his father murdered him. His father is this defendant, Christopher Gregor.
Oh.
This case is about Corey.
She going straight for it.
And how Corey became the ultimate victim of this defendant's
Is he about to
punishment
turn on the waterworks?
and abuse. Back in March of 2021, Corey's parents hadn't been together, but they shared custody. Corey lived with the defendant, and his mom had visitation. On March 20th
Oh, that's interesting.
of 2021, Corey's mom picked him up for a visit. They went to Pennsylvania, and they saw their family.
Why
They
does
were
this got me
supposed
so
to be back at about 3 or
stressed?
4 o'clock. They were in Pennsylvania. There was traffic, and they were running late. Corey's mom told the defendant that. But Brianna's lateness, you'll hear, was pissing him off. He told
He looks like he has an
Brianna
anger problem.
to drop Corey off at the apartment complex's gym and meet him there. So she did. Corey and the defendant went into the gym, and you'll see what happened next. Because that gym
Oh,
had a
shoot.
surveillance
They're about to
system,
play the tapes.
and you will see what this
They're about to play the
defendant
tapes.
did to his son inside that gym.
Ooh.
After that day,
Ooh.
when Corey went back to school during the week, his teacher, his first grade teacher, started to notice some bruises on Corey. She was concerned. She's going to tell you that after March 25th of 2021, Corey was never physically back in person in school ever again.
Why?
During this time, Corey's mom was also concerned. She had seen bruises as well. She was so concerned that she filed an emergent application with the court to get custody. Corey wakes up in the morning. He has his breakfast. His mom dresses him in clean clothes. And he's with his mom the whole time.
You know I'm nervous
And
because
she
I keep
drives him
swiveling.
back to the defendant's apartment in Barnegat. Corey and his mom sat in the car in the parking lot, and they said goodbye for what would be the very last time. Corey was walking. Corey was talking. Corey was fine, except for his bruises. By 9:03 a.m., Corey was back inside the defendant's apartment. You'll hear that the defendant wasn't happy. But he told people, Corey's okay, Corey's all right.
Of course.
Except by 3:48 p.m., this defendant carried Corey's nearly limp body into Southern Ocean Medical Center. He reported that Corey was sleepy and had thrown up. Corey was admitted quickly. He was brought to room 6 in the emergency department.
You gotta be some special type of person. Like, there really has to be some special place in hell for this type of person. Like, you really, really gotta be really, really evil person to hurt a child. Especially your own child.
You'll hear that the defendant wasn't happy. But he told people, Corey's okay, Corey's all right. Except By 3:48 p.m., this defendant carried Corey's nearly
The
limp
way she
body
looks at him. Ooh,
to
look at his
Southern
face. Look at
Portions
his
Medical
face.
Center. He reported that Corey was
Look at the way he's
creepy and grown up.
looking. She's pissed.
Corey was admitted quickly. He was brought to room 6.
You can
in the
tell that this is
department.
like really hitting a nerve for
Corey
her.
coded. He was intubated. He coded again. He lost his pulse. And by 5:03 p.m., Corey was pronounced dead. This defendant, shortly after, walked out of the hospital.
She's definitely dramatized, like really bringing the
He
drama.
left the hospital.
The pauses,
He
everything.
left. Corey. There were a lot of people in Corey's life, and you'll hear about some of them.
Okay, just really quick, because I really like to talk about like or discuss the prosecutors and the defense attorneys and all of those guys. I can already tell how like a case or trial is going to go if I'm going to like the prosecutor or not. And I think that I'm going to like this woman because she's already showing major like the disdain on her face when talking about him, when she was like, this defendant. I could tell that she's really invested in this case. Her face is turning red as a beet. I would imagine that this case would hit a nerve in a lot of people in that courtroom, especially people with children. So I'm just wondering that while she's doing this, if she has any children, and like, is she thinking about her kids?
Corey was pronounced dead.
Mm-hmm.
This defendant,
Look at his face.
shortly after, walked out of the hospital, got into his car, and he left. Left the hospital, and he left Corey. There were a lot of people in Corey's life, and you'll hear about some of them. Some might be positive, and some might not. But don't let that derail you. You all came here to serve as jurors in this case with everything that you need. And those are your life experiences and your common sense. Use it. Corey was alive and well.
I like how
at
she
9
said in your
a.m. when he
common
was with his
sense.
mom, and he was gone by 5:03 p.m. after only being with his father, this defendant.
I like how she says that you come with your common sense, because it kind of sets the tone. It's easy to see that what this guy did was wrong, you know? And I like how she plays on that, the jurors' emotions with that, and how she plays into their head. Not that I'm saying it's, you know, she's manipulating them, but there is a form of manipulation, especially when you're doing the opening story. I always feel like they're setting the scene or the tone, and it really is about storytelling at this stage of the game. Outside of obviously the physical and forensic evidence, one of the most important things in a case is having a good story, especially when you're dealing with a jury. Like she said, those people are using their common sense. They don't really have professional knowledge of any of this stuff. And by her saying that to them about using their common sense, she's kind of reassuring them that, first of all, she's saying that it's common sense that what this guy did is not right. It's common sense for you to return a guilty verdict, is basically what she's setting the tone for. She's also letting them know that they're intelligent enough to go ahead and give that guilty verdict. And I really like what she's doing there. I'm not a professional. I don't know anything about the legal justice system at all. I am just a fan, okay? Very nice the way she's pacing herself, and she's giving enough time and pauses for emphasis in certain areas. I think she's doing really good. And you can tell that he's nervous and that he's really pissed. Yeah, let's keep going.
The state submits that after you've heard and seen all of the evidence in this case, you will be firmly convinced that this defendant is guilty of abuse and murder.
Murder.
Because healthy 6-year-olds don't just die during the course of a business
her
day.
voice is shaking.
And neither did Corey Mitchell.
Ooh, she's pissed.
So the prosecution is saying, look, Corey was
pissed, man. She's pissed. This is gonna be good. Like, yes. You could just tell by the way she's talking that she's really, really into this. Murder? Now, I was thinking that this was going to be a homicide, because I know it has to be like preconceived in order for it to be a murder. And how are they going to prove that he preconceived all this and he planned it before it happened? I don't know. But they're going for murder, man. This prosecutor is going all in balls deep. I'm gonna stop talking and continue.
The defendant is guilty of abuse
Oh, it's getting hot.
and murder. Because healthy 6-year-olds don't just die during the course of a business day, and neither did Corey Michello.
So the prosecution is saying, look, Corey was in Gregor's custody. He was in his care. Gregor is seen on camera allegedly abusing this young boy. This young boy is covered in bruises. He dies suddenly out of nowhere. Wouldn't be too hard to connect the dots here. Wouldn't be too hard to prove that Gregor is responsible, that he caused the death of his son.
Mean.
The defense is saying, not so fast. They had their turn to deliver an opening statement. And they said, yeah, it's true. You're not going to look too kindly on our client. But that doesn't mean he killed his son. In fact, his mother, Brianna, spent the most time with him in the days leading up to his death.
Something wrong with her, too.
Here's attorney.
Is it me? Or is something wrong with that lady, too? I feel like there's something wrong with both these parents. And I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, we haven't heard from her. I don't know her background. I don't know either of their background. This could just be a prejudgment and a poor judgment, like me judging a book by its cover. But honestly, I feel like there's something wrong with her, too. I don't know why. But I just get all types of, both of these parents were entirely, inadequate parents. Now we're about to hear from the defense, and this is the defense's opening statement. Let's hear what they have to say.
But you will see, and what I will agree with, is what Ms. Schrein just told you about a treadmill video.
I can't understand him. I'm not turn on
You're
subtitles.
going to see that on March 20th,
Okay.
Christopher takes that young boy into a gym that's part of his residential complex. And in that gym,
What does the kid
you
need to do in
see
the
him
gym
put
anyway?
Corey on the treadmill, and he begins to work out while he's watching him from across the room. At some point, you're going to see Christopher go over to that treadmill and speed it up. And you're going to see Corey fall. And you're going to see him pick that boy up 6 times. And 6 times put him back on the treadmill.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you on the defense's team? Or... Because everything you're saying so far is not helping your case. Well, I don't think so.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to like him. And I don't care.
Okay.
When you see that video, you're going to be horrified.
Okay.
You're going to be mortified.
Okay.
But I'm telling you right now that the evidence you're going to see of Corey's death had absolutely nothing to do with that treadmill.
Okay, sir. Well, at this point, I think that most of us could agree just the abuse alone, we would like to see him rot in prison. I don't know. Some would agree with me, okay? Too bad that this is an evidence-based case and you have to prove that. One thing that we know is that he was being an irresponsible parent. Neglectful, first of all, for putting the boy on a treadmill and then walking away to work out while your kid is on a treadmill. I don't even get on the treadmill because sometimes those things go too fast and I'll fall off. I'm only 90 pounds. So to hear that a 6-year-old was on there, a little short little baby trying to run like that, who can barely see over the bars, I'm mortified. I'm not feeling very secure about the defense. They're not starting out too strong.
You will hear that when she sees the bruises, Ms. Piccolo, that she makes an emergency application to the court to regain the full custody, by the way, which she never, ever had gotten back from March of 2020.
Why is that? Uh-oh.
And that application was denied. She goes to Ivy Pediatrics.
Yeah.
And they do an exam. They don't really find too much wrong with him, except he has bruises. They do blood work. They do tests. just like Michonne told you. Healthy. But they recommended to her that she follow up and that they would want to take her to Jersey Shore Medical Center to follow up on a child abuse allegation from the Treadmill. You will see that Corey disclosed to the doctor tests. Healthy. Just like Michonne told you. Healthy. But they recommended to her that she follow up and that they would want to take her to Jersey Shore Medical Center to follow up on a child abuse allegation from the Treadmill. You will see that Corey disclosed to the doctor at Ivy that my dad made me run on the treadmill, that I fell on the treadmill, and I also fell playing football. You will hear that she went against the advice of Ivy Pediatrics and left. And she took him to another hospital, community health center, I believe it's called.
So now,
And
okay, now at this point, it appears like the defense is trying to discredit the mother, which they know is the first witness to go up before she even tells her story. So that's what they're doing. They're discrediting her, painting her in a bad light so that you can't trust her. Like, oh, she never got her custody back, by the way. They never granted her full custody. So I don't know if she had full custody before. It sounds like she had full custody before. I don't know how family court works. And then once he started paying child support, they began to co-parent and they got joint custody. That's what it sounds like. Even after all of that, if he was hurt so bad, why did she leave and not follow the instructions of the doctor? You know, even after that, she didn't take it seriously, neither one of them. And like I said, I really think that both parents are inadequate parents and seem to be neglectful. Now, I can't judge too much of her because I don't know. Right now, she ain't on trial. Christopher is on trial. So we got to deal with Christopher. But I really do think, like, in this case, you know, I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to wait until after I hear how she is and her speak and her testimony. But basically, that's what the defense is doing. They are trying to character assassinate her and discredit her. I really think that the defense is doing a poor job at this point for this man's sake of his career, for the defense attorney's sake of his career, to try and argue that this man is not guilty of neglect and child abuse and harming his child, and to say that that is wrong would really, really make people feel some type of way. I don't think it would go over well with the jury or really with the public either, as far as like you defending a child abuser. So I think that he had to go the route of just being like, yeah, he did some shitty things. He's a shitty guy. But did that cause Corey's death?
At hospital, they did another evaluation. And during that evaluation, Corey was healthy, had a few bruises, but still suspected child abuse. We recommend to you that we take Corey to Jersey Shore Medical Center. And you're going to hear
okay, I get it now because he's saying it again. So the pediatric or doctor that they took Corey to initially recommended that they take Corey to the Jersey Shore Medical Center, which I guess, I mean, if doctors instructed me to take my child to another medical center, I would think that something's going on. He might have a concussion. I don't know. Something's up. So they're saying that she was supposed to take him there. They're going to try. Oh, my God. It sounds like, I don't know for sure, but it appears as though they're trying to paint the picture like it was the mom's fault because she was neglectful. She did not take him to the Jersey Shore Medical Center. Is that what they're trying to say? That's what it seems like they're trying to do. They're trying to put it on her.
They found that he had a possibility of something called sepsis.
It is sepsis.
Which you'll understand from a doctor. I'm not a doctor, I'm a lawyer. but doctors are going to testify here. And you're going to
Ooh, I
understand
wanna
that
know what
sepsis is your body's reaction to an infection. And it's a rapid response to that infection. And that rapid response, you're going to hear from doctors, will tell you, can show a child is loopy, disoriented, nauseous. And Jersey Shore Medical Center told her, Brianna, leave the child here.
What?
She took Corey.
Are you kidding me? So she did take him to the hospital? I'm so confused. Oh my God. So she did take him to the hospital, and even the other hospital said, leave him here because he has something called sepsis, which is a serious infection. Did she?
Home, sign papers against medical advice. She took him home.
Oh, girl.
You're going to hear testimony that he looked like he was drunk.
You messed up.
And you're going to see Christopher drive him to Southern Ocean Medical Center. And you're going to see him pull up to the emergency department. And you're going to see him carry that little boy into a hospital. And you're going to see him standing there holding that child in his arms, which seems like hours, before anybody comes to help him.
After he put him on a treadmill and worked him out for hours.
They come and they help him and they take
Sir.
Christopher away, Corey away.
I'm sorry.
And they start to do some testing.
Oh.
And then they decide they need to do.
Do we believe his tears? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Ugh. He does appear remorseful. I know that tears don't come easy for most men. Oh, girl, I don't know. This woman, I don't know. Because she's proven to be quite neglectful as well.
A CAT scan. And while during the CAT scan, Corey seizes, goes into cardiac arrest. Life-saving techniques are now used to try to revive him. He dies. And it sucks. This is a kid. No child should die. No child should die. But it's not murder.
It's interesting, right? Because it's a question of not only did Gregor kill his son or cause his death, but whether anyone killed him. Was it sepsis? And as we mentioned, Brianna Michelot, Corey's mom, was the first witness called to the stand. And we learned that she was 17 and in 11th grade when she gave birth to Corey in 2014. Gregor was in his early 20s, but at...
Oh my God. This man is not only... He's an absolute child abuser. I was literally just about to ask how old was he? So she was 17 when she gave birth to Corey. She was 17. So we don't know what age she was when she got pregnant. It doesn't matter at that point. He was in his early 20s. Maybe that's the reason why, now I'm just so curious about the entire story, like how they met and the whole background of how this all came together. Because, was it a one-night stand? Was it, what was this? Did he groom her and then she accidentally got pregnant, and maybe she never said anything or came forward initially because of that reason, that she was so young when she got pregnant? This is a mess. It's a mess, child. It's a mess. This man is in a lot of trouble. So this is not the first child you've abused.
As we said, Gregor didn't know about Corey until the boy was around 4. Michelot revealed on the stand why a family court granted Gregor the status of resident parent, meaning Corey lived with him and Michelo was allowed visitation.
Oh, I really got to know how old he was. They said his early 20s, but I really need to know. Like, what early 20s? Like, it doesn't matter because she was still a minor and he was an adult. But, like, I need to know. Like, are we talking, like, 20, 23, 24, 25, or 21, 20? Like, what? I need to know. I really need to know. I need to know the exact details. She don't look healthy either, to be honest with you. She don't look well either. So that makes a lot of sense. A child raising a child, great. Just another one of those in this world. Geez, I mean, there's a lot I want to say, but I don't even know what to say because this is all so crazy to me. Like, this is bad. This does not help his case. This does not make him look good in any fashion. So now what we're about to do is we're about to hear from Brianna. I dare not pronounce her last name, but this is the mother of Corey, who is on the stand. She's going on the stand first. She's the first witness to take the stand, and she's going to be probably giving a little bit of a backstory and talking about that day. I presume that the defense will want to cross-examine her at some point, probably in the next video, but let's just watch.
Before a judge approved joint custody.
Now, Brianna, have you struggled with substance abuse?
Right into it.
And have you specifically struggled with drugs?
Yes.
Right into
and
it.
Can you please tell the jurors about this?
Yes. In my early 20s,
See, this is a good idea. I feel like this was a very smart move on the prosecution's behalf to go right into it. Because they already know that the defense is going to try to discredit her and character assassinate her. So they went straight to what they knew was the issue. Oh, she's a drug addict. She has issues with substance abuse. So that means that she's an ill-equipped parent. This is a really, really good move because it establishes that she's a credible witness by admitting her faults, because obviously no one wants to admit that they were a drug addict. No one wants to tell those dirty little details about themselves. But the fact that she is telling on herself this way establishes her with the jury as a credible witness. So although she's kind of character assassinating herself, when I think about which one is worse, character assassination over like a credible witness, being a credible witness, I really feel like being a credible witness is more important than character assassination. Because we can always look at her and be like, yeah, she's a terrible person, but I still believe her as a credible witness because she's telling the truth. So they want to establish that first and foremost, that she's a credible witness, that she's an honest person. She's gotten up here and she said some things about herself that doesn't paint her in the best light. That establishes a certain rapport about her with us, that she is a truthful person. A very intelligent, great move. Also, they knew that the defense was going to bring this up, so they might as well. If you're going to if somebody's going to tell on you, the best way to handle that is to tell on yourself. All the time, that is the best way to handle it. This way, she also gets to paint her own narrative and kind of get a little bit of a backstory. She at least gets an opportunity to kind of give us a little more insight on the reasons why she was the way she was. And, it could be she had a bad lifestyle. She was 16 when all this stuff happened. No wonder, or 17, whatever. No wonder. Like, I can't even blame her. I was, for half the things I was thinking about her just because she was so young when she had him. But I'm curious to know why she waited 4 years before letting Christopher know that he was the father and asking for that child support. And because she was so young, it's making me think, was their getting together consensual or was it not? Like, I could see somebody being like, well, I don't want to get in contact with my abuser. Do you know what I mean? Maybe she felt like at that point she needed the support, so she had to get in contact with him. There's just like a lot of unanswered questions.
Have you struggled with substance abuse?
Yes.
And have you specifically struggled with drugs?
Yes.
And can you please tell the jurors about
What
this?
did she struggle with?
Yes. In my early 20s, I
Did she say
struggled
the C word?
with drug abuse.
White?
When I was younger, I went through a lot, and I feel like I used the drugs to
suppress my emotions. I didn't really have the coping skills that I do now. And yeah, like I said, I was just going through a lot, but I've been clean currently for a long time.
What's a long time,
Have you
girl?
ever used drugs in front of your son, Corey?
No.
Ooh.
And can you
She
tell
answered
us
that
why you were granted custody of Corey in October of 2020?
I went through a drug program and I provided clean urines, and I just fought really hard because I hated living without my son.
Now, Corey's parents seemingly had a contentious relationship with each other, and this was documented a bit by the text messages between the two talking about how much time Corey was spending with one of them or the other.
Did you speak to Corey in the car before you sent him into the defendant's home?
I did.
And was that the last time that you spoke to Corey?
Was.
At 3:30 on April 2nd, what did the
she's thinking
defendant
about
tell
that.
you about Corey?
He said he was lethargic. His legs were hurting. He was sleeping all day, and he was throwing up and just didn't feel good. And then he told me to send Corey's insurance card to him.
And did you send the defendant Corey's insurance card?
I did.
And did the defendant say anything about taking Corey to the hospital?
Yes.
And did the defendant tell you what hospital he was taking Corey to?
No.
Was that the last time that you
I'm sorry.
had spoken?
I would have had to know where you was taking my baby, for real. Like, I don't understand why she didn't ask, because I would have had to know where my baby was going, because I would have showed up there 110%. I don't understand that.
Spoken to the defendant on that day.
Yes.
And did you learn what hospital Corey was taken to?
Yes.
After the phone conversation, did you know at that time what hospital Corey was taken to?
No.
And at that time, what did you do?
I started calling the hospitals to see if Corey was there. I also called my local police department to kind of report Corey as, like, I don't know where he is, and he's not feeling good, he's sick.
And
What?
about 6
Sorry.
o'clock that day on the 2nd, did the police come to your home?
Yes.
She reported
And
him missing? But she knew
Did
he
you
was
learn
at the
at that
hospital with
time
her.
that Corey had passed?
I did.
Wait a minute, did I miss something?
Now, on that same day that Corey passed away, did you go to the police station and provide a statement?
I did.
And when it came time for the defense to cross-examine Michelot, they focused first on her history of using methamphetamine and any relapses.
That one?
So, in January of 2020, you have a drug issue, you lose custody
Ooh,
of
that's a
Corey.
big one.
In March of 2020, you still don't have custody of Corey. I believe it's in October, though, of 2020
She
that
messing
you're now
up.
allowed visitation.
I am, yes.
Okay. And in October of 2020, you then relapse in December of 2020.
Yes.
Does Christopher know that you relapsed in December of 2020? Did you tell him?
I don't believe I
I
did.
didn't hear that.
And did you go back to rehab?
I did not.
Were you able to get over the addiction at that point?
No.
So you relapsed again.
Yes.
When did you relapse again?
I don't know. I have to think. Maybe February. I can't
February of-
recall. It was on and off, like once or twice throughout.
February of 2021?
Ooh,
Yes.
both of these parents are
And
just not
is
it.
that the last relapse?
Yes. Yes.
So from February of 2021 until you sit here today, you've been sober.
No.
Okay. So you relapsed again.
Okay. Yes, I did one time. Yes.
Okay. What was that?
Probably around the same time.
Did Christopher ask you to send him the insurance card information?
Around 3:30.
Do you remember in this Facebook chat? So that's the day Corey died.
It was.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, guys.
That's the day that you don't know what's going on, right? You don't have any idea what's going on yet, right?
Correct.
All right. And you're asking Justin to bring you a methamphetamine.
Yes.
So.
Well, I
you
mean,
said
her
that you
kid
relapsed in February.
But
Yes.
Is that
that's
true?
no excuse. But
I actually, that day I didn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you
So-
wanted it to.
I mean, yeah, I was very upset about my son being abused.
So.
oh, okay. It's
you wanted a
before
methamphetamine.
she found out that he had
Methamphetamine?
passed away
Methamphetamine.
because she thought he was being
Do
abused.
you recall on that same time,
Jeez.
a little later in the afternoon,
Ooh,
where
what
you
was that?
were saying,
She made a
can I
face.
come over and buy one?
What time was this?
Wait.
4:03. I do, yeah. This is the same text message then? Yeah.
And do you recall then going on and saying, I mean, I could get it by myself,
Yes.
I just don't want that much.
Yes.
Now, what does that mean, I don't want that much?
I wasn't like in active addiction, so I didn't need much. So that's what that means.
So on the day
Active addiction.
that you are complaining that your son was allegedly abused by Christopher, you're asking your boyfriend to bring you methamphetamine.
I did.
You can kind of see where the defense is going with this,
Yep.
right? They're trying to destroy Brianna Michelo's credibility.
Yep.
And we expect to hear from other family members, doctors, coroners, pathologists, and more during this trial as the jury tries to sort out exactly what injuries this little boy had, when he got them, and who's responsible, if anyone. We will continue to follow it for you right here on Sidebar. That's all we have for you, everybody. Thank you
All
so
right,
much for
Jesse.
joining us. As always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you
I
get your
love
podcasts.
Jesse. Oh my God. I don't know where to begin with all of this. This is going to be a mess. This is going to be a mess. All of their dirty laundry is about to get aired out. All of it. Poop is about to hit the fan, and it's about to go everywhere. I will have a true crime and makeup video coming up for you girlies soon, so stay tuned for that. Like, comment, subscribe, share all of the YouTube-y things. You guys know I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.